Hello, everyone, and welcome to the National Inventor Club. We are in May 2025, and we are all in our inventive minds working on our big ideas, whether it's in our head, prototyping, manufacturing, looking for a licensing deal, and somewhere along the way, we're going to need some promotion, some media, some way to be able to get our product out there and people know about it, not only for them to know us, but to know our product. So I have a really interesting story to share how I met our senior editor journalist this evening. And there's been a lot of fun activity also with National Inventor Club, which is found in the Inventor Smart Community app. If you haven't already joined, you can become a subscriber. It's free. We do have premium subscriptions. Obviously, membership has its privileges, but you can sign up in there. We have social media channels in there, different group chats, a discussion forum that we just launched. We have resources for inventors and trade show information, different things that are related to the US Patent and Trademark Office that you can find in there. There's so many things that are there and available to help you as the inventor, entrepreneur, startup, whatever you want to call yourself. Get some help and advice and feedback, network with like-minded inventors. We're all here to help each other. That's why we do what we do. So please, when you have a chance, go on to the Inventor Smart Community app on Google Play and Apple App Store, or on the web. You can easily go to app.inventorsmart.com. But we have a great lineup tonight on National Inventor Club. I am first going to introduce, because I just saw her in person a couple days ago, Janet Gongola. She is from the US Patent and Trademark Office. I know her for many, many years. She's got a lot of titles. What's your official title now, Janet?
Currently, I'm the acting chief communications officer.
Fantastic. And congratulations on that honor of having that title. And
Thank you.
and also thank you very much for inviting me, and also acting director of the US Patent and Trademark Office, Coke Morgan Stewart, for having me at the National Inventors Hall of Fame just a couple days ago. I think I still have my tux up there, but I wanted to share a picture of where we were. So let me just show you this. It was unbelievable. Black tie event, US Patent and Trademark Office sponsored, Qualcomm, who else? Google, Microsoft. I mean, unbelievable sponsors for this amazing event in Washington, D.C. at the Anthem. And all the players were there. Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick, and some other people that are running the US Patent and Trademark Office. So it was an amazing event. I just want to show you. There were even inductees from 2010. This is Arthur Fry. He's the inventor of the Post-it. I had a chance to sit next to him for a while at the event, so that was amazing. And then, yep, I was Mr. Snazzy in my tux. And then I also had my date for the evening, Janet. She was there. So it was a lot of fun. Janet, what do you think? That was some. I mean, the inventors that were inaugurated into the Inventor Hall of Fame. That was unbelievable. I mean, these are some serious inventors that actually changed the world.
Yes, the induction ceremony is super special every year. The inventors come from all over the country, and they range from the digital camera to vaccines to all the cutting edge technology that really changes our lives for the better. Every year, the Hall of Fame inducts a class of inventors of about 20, some living, some posthumously, but it feels like touch with rock stardom to be there at the ceremony.
Well, next year we are going to have National Inventor Club at the National Inventor Hall of Fame. We're going to have our own table. So that's going to be amazing. But thank you so much for that invite. That was a great night and a quick trip, but very well worth it.
Well, we're so glad that you joined us for the evening, and we look forward to seeing all the members of National Inventor Club come in the future.
Absolutely. Let's get our tuxes ready for sure. So, Janet, we have intro guest speakers like yourself come on and give us some tips and advice to keep us moving forward with our invention. So, please, if you can help us, we'd very much appreciate it.
Well, I would be delighted to help. You are my absolute favorite group, and I enjoy appearing on the National Inventor Club sessions whenever invited. Tonight, I want to talk to you about a brand new webinar series that the USPTO has released called USPTO Hour. This is a weekly webinar conducted on Wednesdays at noon. It is free to join, and each week we feature a different business area of the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. So the purpose behind is to give you all a behind the scenes look at our agency. Uh, we will talk about our leadership, new initiatives, our priorities. We try to touch upon challenges that we face and answer all of your questions in a single hour session. We started this series a month ago, and thus far we have featured the patent organization talking about their priorities and how we mitigate fraud in patent filings. We featured the trademark organization, similarly talking about their priorities and how to avoid trademark fraud. Last week, we spoke with the Patent Trial and Appeal Board, the place where I previously used to work, about the very basics of appeal and AIA trial proceedings. And this week, my new office, the Office of the Chief Communications Officer, had the opportunity to tell you about all the different ways in which we communicate and spread our message of what happens at the USPTO to all of you. Next week, we're going back to patents for a discussion of patent pendency and inventory. So these are really a great way for you to stay abreast on what is happening at the agency and interact with agency employees and talk directly to them. So I hope to see some or all of you at one of the upcoming sessions.
Thank you, Janet. And how do we find out, or how do we register for it?
If you go onto the USPTO's website and you just Google USPTO Hour, a web page will come up and you can register. We've been very fortunate. We're getting over 1,000 registrants for each session, and registration translates to attendance, about 500 people every time. So it's proving to be a fruitful and popular series for us.
Thank you. And how much does it cost to attend?
Free, the best amount, free.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And let's see if we can get that link to it in the chats so we can get more registrations, and I'm sure you're going to find something interesting that's going to be able to help you. So go to, in the meantime or afterwards, you can visit uspto.gov, put in the search USPTO hour, and it'll come right up, and register, and then join the webinar. Good?
Terrific. Thank you so
All
much,
right. Thank
Brian.
you,
Good to
Janet.
see
We'll see you
everyone.
again soon. Be well. Thanks again. All right, let's have Pierre Las Pinas. He is from the Small Business Development Center, and he's a business advisor. There are small business development centers all over the country, most likely in a nearby college. They have an office. And Pierre is from Farmingdale State College in New York, and he's become a regular on the National Inventor Club, and he's always got amazing tips and advice for us. What do you have tonight, Pierre?
Okay, good evening. What I have tonight is for inventors who are going about monetizing their invention by themselves through manufacturing. There's two words or two concepts that you must think about when you're planning how much capital you're going to need. The first one is called manufacturing mold. There's a mold that a manufacturer must make for your particular product. Your product is unique. That's why you have patent on it. So that means they haven't done it before. So they have to make a mold in order to make this thing that you're going to be selling. And there's a cost associated with it. It's good to find out what that cost is early in your search process for a manufacturer that's going to do it. The next concept is that of the minimum quantity order. That's important. Yes, someone can do this for you, but do you have to buy 1,000 of it at a time? Because that's going to affect how much initial inventory you need, and how much money you need every time that you are ordering these things. So mold, minimum quantity orders. You do need to find out what that means in terms of the manufacturer that you want to use, because you're going to use that in your business planning, the financials of it, either capital requirement, and also as inventory, initial inventory for your products.
Thank you so much, Pierre. Tell us very quickly what somebody can do when they connect up with a small business development center advisor.
When you connect with a small the business development advisor, you're gonna tell us what your business model is. People come in and they say, "I want a business plan," but it's the next step in the process. What you're planning is the execution of your model. Understanding your model is critical to getting a plan that's actually actionable, and a plan that actually works and reflects where you're going.
Okay. And how much does it cost?
It costs absolutely nothing to you. It costs zero. And you can come back as many times. You can learn as you can come as often or as sparsely as you please. There's never.
Fantastic. Now, the Small Business Development Center is a division of the Small Business Administration, who's going to be a guest on our National Inventor Club in a couple months.
Certainly.
But like I mentioned earlier, if you're looking for business plans, you're looking for potential grants, you're looking for local resources to be able to help you, loans, Small Business Administration loans. I know that many inventors have gone to this Small Business Development Center. Most of the time, there's somebody there that has experience with inventors, but it's all free. So take advantage of it. And Pierre is one of the very well-known business advisors in Long Island, in New York here. And thank you for what you do. Tell the Erica and the rest of the team there that I say hello, and I miss you guys and hope to see you again soon.
I certainly will. Good to see
Thank
you,
you.
Brian.
Thank
Okay.
you, Pierre.
All right.
Bye-bye. All right, we have next up another division of the Small Business Administration, SCORE. There are SCORE mentors and offices all over the country. You can connect up with SCORE mentors online. And depending on what type of service or product that you're working on, you can find an advisor like Idnithia. And she is from SCORE. She is going to give us some tips and advice. How did I do on the intro of SCORE? If you can maybe give a little bit more about SCORE and yourself, and what your tips are for tonight.
Well, thank you, Brian. You did amazing. So wonderful job. But SCORE is a national program under the SBA's umbrella. I am a part of the Charlotte division or chapter, and we service 17 counties here. And so one of the things that I'd like to highlight is that we offer free mentorship to small businesses as well as entrepreneurs. So it doesn't matter what stage you are in your business. We are here to help. We offer, like I said, guided tools and resources to afford you the capabilities of being able to move forward in your business and sometimes scale that business to the next level. We also partner with a lot of community resources to ensure that if it's something that we can assist you with, then we're more than happy to get you into the right places. So we partner with banks, we partner with counties and cities. We partner with other nonprofit organizations to ensure that whatever it is that you have a question about pertaining to your business, you are able to get those needs met. And if I could just offer one piece of advice, if you are looking to secure a mentor, know what your questions are about your business, know what your business needs, or at least be able to identify what your pain points are so that someone can help you. We like to make sure that when you are assigned a mentor, that you're assigned someone who can help you with your specific problem or with your specific question. So we have SMEs, and we have that are experts in their field to identify exactly where you are in your business and help you to get to the next level. So we just want to make sure that whenever you're asking those questions, that you can identify what it is that you're looking for. Thanks. I think, is there anything else that you would like for me to share?
Well, you know what? A couple weeks ago, I had the opportunity to interview Bridget Weston. She's the CEO of SCORE, and we had a one-on-one chat. It was unbelievable. I'll share maybe after the meeting, I'll share the link to the video. And if you really want to get deep and understand SCORE, she really went into it. I appreciate your couple minutes here, Nithya, but if you really want to understand SCORE and learn about it and be able to participate and take advantage of the free resource, you can hear Bridget's interview as well. But thank you very much, Nithya. I know this was short notice for you, but it's always great to have a representative from SCORE let people know what's available for them. Thank you.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
See you again soon.
Take care.
Thank you. All right. And we'd like to thank our sponsors. Let's have Matthew Brody. He is from Prototype House. He is one of the Inventor Smart Community app and National Inventor Club sponsors. Matt, you have some tips and advice for us? Let's just take you off of mute there.
There you go. Brian, thank you for having me. I love your group and everything that you put together and some amazing events. So I put together just two tips for everybody out there that I've seen over the years that I think is very beneficial. Number one is protect smart. Don't just protect your idea fast. And what I mean by that is just don't be too quick to file a patent. A rush patent can also cost more than a missed one because sometimes inventors, they go and file a patent too soon. And then as you start to develop your product, you make changes or improvements that could have made that patent a lot stronger. And then you have to go back and try to amend a patent or change it. So my recommendation is file a provisional or wait until you have your product a little bit further developed and then go ahead and file your patent so that your claims are really strong, it's very broad, and work with a qualified patent attorney. My second tip is ideate with purpose. I know it's your invention, but sometimes it's good to get other people's feedback and start working on the second revision, third revision, and ideate a little bit more, because as soon as you get your idea out there or product out there, people will give you really good feedback. And if you hear something consistently, maybe it's time to change some aspect or part of your invention to make it more appealing to the market or your end user. So sometimes I see inventors and they're married to their first idea that they have, but it's good to open it up to others and get some other ideas and, make sure that it can be produced and do what you want it to do.
Thank you so much. Matthew has an operation, a Prototype House, as his title and his name is, of his company. And if you're looking for CAD files, you're looking for finished prototypes, Matt and his team are the place to go and get a quote, and you will be satisfied. Matthew, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being a part of and a sponsor of the National Inventor Club and the Inventor Smart Community app. We appreciate your support.
My pleasure, guys. Keep inventing.
Thank you so much. See you soon. All right, let's have our next sponsor, Justin Chen. He is from PickFu, and we're going to find out what PickFu is about, but I had a chance. I just finished my class. I'm taking my master's MBA in business administration, and I just took a really tough class. For me, it wasn't that tough though. It was design thinking. So it was inventing, which was cool. But part of my class was getting outside people their feedback and not just making them say yes, but not really knowing who they are, and also getting some real straight up feedback that I can make better decisions with my invention. So it was a really amazing class. And Justin and his platform, PickFu, got a chance to be a part of that. Thank you so much for doing that with me. And I'd like to introduce you to my professor also. Maybe, I don't know if I could still get extra credit, but thank you.
Yeah.
So,
thanks for having me on, Brian.
great. So Justin, if you can tell us quickly about PickFu and give us some tips and advice.
Yeah, thanks for that introduction. But PickFu is a self-service consumer research platform that helps you instantly crowdsource feedback on your product ideas, designs, logos, marketing creatives, all within a matter of minutes. So kind of like what Matt just said, you want to make sure that you gather feedback early in the product development process. The way we do that is we have a panel of millions of US and global consumers who will tell you what they like or dislike about your product design or your logo or your packaging, whatever it is that you might be testing. And it all starts at $1 per response. So 15 responses for $15. Think of it as a digital focus group. So my tip this month is actually to test something really important, which is product demo videos. Before you spend a ton of time and money on professional production, or maybe before you start doing live selling. As inventors, we're all experts at showing off our own products. And, I feel the same with my own business. But, what makes sense to us is not necessarily what's going to leave our potential customers understanding the product. And so that's where PickFu comes in handy. You can quickly test out different video styles, different lengths, all within a matter of minutes. So, definitely see if a 15-second pitch works better than a detailed minute-long video, maybe different camera angles or demo sequences, different ways to tell your story. Maybe it's the technical specs or the benefits or how it solves different problems. And so there's a lot of different angles that a video can take. And I think testing that early on before you kind of, spend thousands of dollars in production is a great decision. So if you want to try it out, we do have a special code, Inventor, that will give you 50% off your first poll. So that's under $10 to hear from 15 US consumers on your product video or your product design, or even your book covers.
Thank you so much. I've used your platform to pick a logo, to get feedback on what color a product should be, the name of a product, if somebody would use my product, how much would they pay? And once I get all that information, I can find out where they're from, their age, different demographics on them, obviously. But for them, they're in your platform and in your network, and they're all under non-disclosure agreement. So I don't have to worry about them stealing my idea, right?
That's right.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being a sponsor of National Inventor Club and the Inventor Smart Community app. We appreciate your support. And if you want to ask your friends and family, they're going to tell you how amazing and wonderful everything is and pat you on the back. And then I don't know what kind of face they're going to make when they turn around. But if you want some real solid feedback from people that you don't know that will tell you like it is for you to make a better decision, I think PickFu might be a good chance for you to get that kind of result. So thank you so much, Justin.
Thanks, Brian.
See you soon. All right. Well, some of our other sponsors who aren't here tonight, I'd like to thank them as well. We have the Patent Professor and John Rizvi and his team, amazing crew of patent attorneys and support for intellectual property. And I'm really proud to say that I am an ambassador to Alibaba.com. So I have been training people on how to use Alibaba.com to source their factories or their products if they're looking to build a business. I've also had the honor of working with Alibaba Corporate, and they have become a sponsor of National Inventor Club and the Inventor Smart Community app. They are very active with their IP protection group, showing inventors and startups and companies that have intellectual property how they protect IP on Alibaba platforms. So thank you so much for them. Recently, we also partnered with GS1 US. So the barcodes that you see on every package everywhere, the main place that you get a barcode, UPC, is from gs1us.org. So thank you so much for them, for their support. We also have partnered with Fiverr. So if you're looking for a freelancer, you can go to Fiverr. We actually have in the Inventor Smart Community app, we have all the sponsors in there. We have coupon codes for the sponsors. They have given us discounts for the members of Inventor Smart Community. So please take advantage. I mean, these are all great resources. I know you have to use them because I have also, while I've been inventing products and recommending other people. So take advantage of our platform. We continue to grow. Thank you to Andy, Samantha, Sean for all your help and support to make this possible and keep growing our community every single day. Thank you. All right, so we have our main guest speaker, AJ Flick. In March this year, 2025, I don't know when people watch this, sometimes it's years later, but in March of 2025, I was at the Inspired Home Show. I was in the press area, and AJ and I just ended up at the same table eating breakfast and got to know each other. And I feel like I struck gold because AJ is a senior editor of major publications, which I'm going to give her a chance to say her own bio. But look, we're at all different stages of our invention. And most of the time, when we get to that finish line where we're going to be disclosing our idea to the world, we want some exposure. And how do we do that? We want people to know that we're the inventor. We want people to know about our invention. So how do we do that? Well, that's why I brought AJ Flick on tonight. We always try to find different things around our invention of what we need. And this is absolutely something that we need because you know what? If nobody knows about our idea, AJ, then it's just for us and our friends and family, I guess. But you're going to help us to get some more information. So before we start, of course, thank you for joining. And if you could tell us a little bit about yourself first.
Okay, thank you so much. I've been really looking forward to this. I've been a journalist actually since I was 17. I was still in high school, hired by a local TV station to do news producing and reporting and things like that. And I did radio as well, but during college I decided that I wanted to go into print journalism. And I got hired right out of college, and newspapers were great then. I don't know if everybody remembers what newspapers are, but I really enjoyed it. I did features, I did music, I covered entertainment, general news, and crime. And that's when my author status is because I wrote a true crime book. And then the newspaper, the last newspaper I worked for 17 years, died. Well, they killed it. I should have written a true crime book about that. And I decided that I didn't want to stay in newspaper journalism, and I wanted to see what else I could do with my newspaper journalism skills. I did communications jobs for campaigns, for some artists, and a few years ago I got a job with Oster Communications doing trade journalism, which I didn't even know existed. And it's a little different than general journalism, what you consider journalism, but it's journalism. And I love my job. I'm the senior editor of 2 national trade publications, Gourmet News for the specialty food industry, and Kitchenware News and Housewares Review on housewares. And so those are the main shows that I go to, either eating my way through the trade show floor or seeing all these gadgets that I would be the worst buyer for anybody because I'll just take one of everything. I just think they're so cool. And so yeah, and I meet such interesting people like Brian. Never expected anything like that, and I'm going to do a story on him and the Inventors Club and everything.
Thank you so much, AJ. Well, I know that you put together some slides for us, and it's really interesting because we don't know really what to do. I mean, there's social media, we've heard of public relations and press releases and maybe calling up our local media, but I know that you kind of put it together for us and you made it really simple for us to get some great tips and advice from you. So if you can please share whatever you can to keep us moving forward with our big ideas and get us some exposure.
Absolutely. One of the things I really love about going to the trade shows is, I don't need to give more publicity to the big guys who have national TV ads and everything. I like to meet the people who are just starting out, and I love going to whether they call it the Inventors Corner or whatever that inventors who maybe aren't having anything in production. But at the home show, Brian, I don't know if you saw it. There was this amazing product that makes water out of air, and I thought, no, that's impossible. It just blew my mind. That was the product this year that blew my mind. And I thought, he's got to be making this up. This can't happen. But it's true. It's actually true. And it was just a wonderful experience getting to know him. And I'll be doing a story about that one too.
That's awesome.
And I kind of, when I put this slideshow together, I'm not a graphic artist, but you'll see kind of like a dragon theme, because I liked it because it was kind of like, I think people look at trying to approach the media as you have to tame the dragon. And so this is how you do it. This is how you tame us dragons. And one thing, I called it Tell Me Your Story, because story is everything. You've got your product and you've got your goals and everything, but it's the stories that'll get the attention that we want to tell your story. So in order to do that, before you start contacting us, set a goal, research the market, not meaning your market, but our market, the media market. What publications do you want to hit? Because it doesn't do you any good to approach a media outlet if they don't do, if you have a beauty product, let's say, well, I don't cover that. So you might have a great product, but I don't cover that. So look at the websites for the publications, look what they offer, and get an idea of when you're going to pitch to that person or to me. Let me know what, that you're familiar with what I do, and you'll fit. So, and of course, prepare your pitch. The elevator pitch that everyone talks about, it works for us too. We'll get into it later about this also, these ideas are when you, probably you'll send an email, the subject line, we'll get into that, is everything. Before you're ready to set things out, double check everything, spell check everything, and then do it. Just because, and it's not going to get done if you don't do it. Don't chicken out, just do it. And then follow up, and don't be a pest. But, after a week or so, if you've sent to someone and you really want to hear back from them, say, hey, in case you missed it, because I tell you what, I'm a one-person editorial department. And every 2 months I have to produce 48 pages of content.
Wow.
So I don't see each and every email that comes through. I do check my email, and when something pops out at me, and I'll have examples of what does. That's what catches. If you've done everything right, you're going to catch my eye.
AJ,
And
when I'm looking to tell my story to you, how much, if you kind of put a percentage on it, how much should be about me and how much should be about my idea or my product being launched or whatever it is? Because sometimes I ask somebody or I say, tell me about your invention. And I hear this whole story about their invention, which is very nice and I love it. But how does an editor look at that?
well, there are two ways to go about it, and you can do both pitches, but separately. And I'll talk about that later during the follow-up and everything. Sometimes, and I have a great example coming up about, if it's the story the inventor, do you have a great story to tell? It's your background, it's how you thought of this, it's a product that's going to revolutionize something or other, and it's all came from your brain. That's interesting. So that can be one pitch. But if it's the product, if that's what you really want, and this product is really whiz bang, nobody's ever seen it before, sell the product. And then later on say, and you can also include something about yourself, but you can do it back and forth. Big, if you want the story about the inventor, and then at the end is saying, and this is what the inventor has done, or this is the product, this is the best thing anyone's ever seen, and then here's something like a paragraph about the inventor. So you can set the focus. You can a lot depends on what your goals are. Are you looking to get just prints or video or something out there in the world to get your name out there, to get your brand out there? Or are you going to, do you need manufacturers, investors, something like, for instance, Kitchenware News? Our audience, they're industry people. They're not consumers. Well, they are consumers. We're all consumers. But it's the manufacturers, the distributors, the retailers, these people who go to the trade shows, the buyers, that's our audience. So it depends on what your goals were. I just thought of these things these goals that inventors might want to attract investors, go viral. Social media is terrific. Are you looking to sell so many units? Raise your profile in the world, change the world, serve humanity, or educate. Educate's a great thing, educating people about what your product is, what it does, what it changes, and that what you're doing is setting the stage for what your media campaign is going to be about. So you don't throw everything all at once. Set your goals. Get your vision set, because this is probably the first time that you've been contacting people to get media. So don't feel like you have to fit everything in, because if you send, a 30-page email, nobody's going to read past the third page. You want to be brief. You want to get, the message out. You want to tempt that media person. You want to tempt someone like me to say, I want to talk to that person. I want to find out more. So don't give everything all away. But that's what you're doing. And I'll have some tips later on about how you can see examples of that very easily.
Excellent. But it is important to know what it is that you want to achieve when you're reaching out to the editor. So, and to be able to focus your story, whether it's calling or emailing or writing a press release, what is your purpose of reaching out, and you're going to help us to figure out who to reach out to and how. But knowing what it is that you want to achieve is very important. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. And as I say, research the media. Local media is a great place to start because you know, a lot of people don't think about them, but especially if you're not used to being interviewed on TV or seeing your name in the paper, it's, you know, unless if you live in like St. Louis, it's going to be harder than if you live in, I don't know, Tucson. That's where I am. You know, it's going to be easier to get in the media locally. Don't, you know, even like if it's your, you know, your high school alma mater, if you're going for a class reunion and you did something, and contact your paper and let them know, because then they can do a story about you, and you'll get more exposure that way. Know that newspapers have editors. TV and radio stations have assignment editors. Those are the kind of people you want to target. Or if you have a favorite TV reporter or newspaper reporter, it doesn't hurt to pitch to them. And nationally, of course, it's a little harder to crack nationally. Most of the people who do have a PR agency or advertising agency helping them. But if you narrow it down, there are outlets out there, Business Newswire and PR Newswire. Those are places where national media look through for press releases, and you can go there and look to see what a press release looks like. They're very standard. They have the opening graph that tells the point. They have the second graph that's a quote. I've written so many press releases, and then they have about 3 more paragraphs about the product or the person and a contact information. And that's really it. You know, you put a little headline on it like you would a subject line in an email, but look what's out there and copy it. These things aren't copyrighted. So I wouldn't plagiarize because your product is unique and everything like that. But so are you aiming to reach industry attention or consumer attention? Do you want, you know, maybe your goal is to get Kim Kardashian to really like your product and mention it and have a zillion people start following you on Instagram or something. Hey, you know, but, you know, set your goals, research the market, and have a purpose when you're finally getting ready to send out your press release or that email. You don't need, you know, an email to a newspaper editor or assignment editor doesn't have to be a formal press release. I get them all the time. You don't have to feel like it has to come from, you know, your spouse who has a different last name, like they're a publicist for you, unless they really are. But I like it when the co-owner or the founder or the inventor contacts me and I've got their contact information. So I can go right to them and say, hey, let's do a story. This is interesting.
That's great. I can tell you that if you go to an industry trade show, let's say you're trying to launch a product and you want to get into some retail stores, you have industry buyers that are in reading those articles in the newsletters that you have. And you know what? Most of these publications have newsletters. I subscribe to so many of them, and it keeps me in the loop. Supermarket news and all yours, and just all different industries, even pharma, just to learn and see what's coming out that's new. It keeps me in the know of each industry to know what's coming out, what's innovative, what they're looking for, what's hot. I also get an understanding of the people who are the players in the industry. And then I walk around those trade shows and I see them there. You know what I mean? So it's really good to get into your world, number one, with the industry trade shows, and then to talk to your consumers. Like you said, everybody's a consumer, but most likely the newspapers and the TV and radio, that's really for the consumer. So just balance it out. Like you said, set goals for yourself and execute your plan.
Exactly. And so now you've done your homework, you've done your research, you're preparing your pitch. Keep it simple, Sam, as they say. You're trying to stand out, but it doesn't mean that you have to, write the great American novel and impress the person you're trying to pitch with your writing. No, they're the writer. Don't worry about that. You just want to give them the idea, the seed of what you're trying to get to. And the power of email, that's, for me, that's the best way. I would rather get an email than a phone call, because I might be in the middle of something, so I can get the email anytime. The subject line, and I'll have some examples. Take that time. You don't want to, those clickbait things, I see them all the time, and they're like, you won't believe which major store is bankrupt now. And I'm like, what? And then it's like, it gives you the whole history of that industry. And then, because you have to keep strolling and through the ads. And then finally they have, and then something, some store that you knew was going out of business is going out of business. But, you want to get to the point, and you want to, get that streamlined elevator pitch to catch my eye as I'm scrolling through dozens and dozens and dozens of email every day. And as I said, don't feel like you have to impress with your writing. You just want the simplicity, the who, what, when, where, why, why you want that person. You're trying to get their attention, why it's going to be worth it to get their attention.
Fantastic. I just want to pause for one moment and let everybody know that as soon as we're done, you will find in the chat or in the Inventor Smart Community app the link to the after meeting networking that we're going to have. And we'll be able to talk about our experiences listening for this evening's webinar here, and for the topic of getting media attention for your invention. So thank you so much, AJ, for giving this advice. And we hope to take what you're kind of teaching us here to the next level. So I know that you have more tips for us.
Yes. I'll try to get through them quickly and not stray too far. So as I said earlier, for the next slide, Brian is helping me with this slideshow, so because I can't do it. You want to tell the story in as few words as you can. That's what our life is all about as journalists. As I said previously, are you selling yourself as the story? Are you selling the invention? But you're just going to whet their appetite. And here are 3 examples of recent emails that these are the subject lines. And I just love this first one from Army Ranger to Rancher, veteran now fighting for food independence. And I'm like, wow, I want to find out more about that. And then, in the email, there was, maybe 4 or 5 paragraphs with a picture of this guy who looks like, like he's supposed to, looks like a rancher, but he also looks kind of military-ish. And I'm doing a story about him and what he does with meat co-op with other veterans. And then the second one, launch, Recess Orange Vanilla Magnesium Infused Mood Drink. And first launch, that tells me what they're doing. They've just launched a product and they want me to write about it. I have a new products column every issue of each magazine. And I saw orange vanilla and I'm like, yum. And so, and they are very, very good. They sent me some. And then the third one, news. Rocky Mountain Hardware launches CERT collection. And Rocky Mountain Hardware, I'm familiar with them. I've dealt with them. So, that they're launching this collection, and I usually just love what they do. So that made me want to open up that email. So these are the kind of like the things you should think about when, you're not trying to say everything in the subject line. You just want to catch their eye so they, click on that email.
That's great.
And double check everything. Sometimes people don't like to open attachments if they don't know who you are. I have one editor friend who will not. So you can attach an image or a press release, but also, if you're attaching a document, have the body in the body of your email, the copy in your body of your email. Pictures catch eyes all the time, and get to the point. I get pitches every single day, so I don't want that clickbait thing that I have to read the whole history of inventions before you tell me that. I'm not going to read that whole thing. And I should have made it bigger, but spell check is your friend. Don't be afraid to spell check. And if you're sending something to a person directly, make sure you have their name right.
Good points. I just have a quick question here. So if I have a picture, I might attach it to my email. So when you say that you don't like attachments, should I embed the picture in the email or send an attachment to the picture?
Do both.
Okay.
Definitely, because I don't mind opening another attachment. If there's a virus, this is my work computer, so it's their problem. But of course, I don't click on anything suspicious. But there was this Nigerian prince who had an invention.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you can embed the photo in the email to catch their eye. Yeah, it doesn't hurt to do both because, it's win-win.
What about links to websites, or if my product is being sold on Amazon? Are you good with that to start clicking away from the email?
Sure. I love links, especially websites. That tells me more about, that's the first thing I did with that rancher story. I clicked on the website to see, and, they have a very nice but simple website set up, so I could find out a little more. And then I went back to the email and said to the PR person who sent it to me, it's like, yeah, I want to do a story on this.
That's cool.
And do's and don'ts. Avoid hyperbole. Unless your invention truly has the power to change the world, don't pretend that it does. What makes your invention story unique without using that word? I hate that word. I'm going to read the email anyway, but tell me what makes it unique, because everybody says everything they do is unique. That doesn't tell me anything. But, it's like that old acting thing, show, don't tell. So tell me what makes it distinctive, what makes it stand out. Are you going to do first person or third? Are you going to just say, hi, I'm the inventor of this wonderful product, and I'd like to introduce you to it? That's perfectly fine. Or if you want to, take a step away, maybe you're not promoting yourself, say, so-and-so has invented this product and is looking to get it in stores soon because it's going to change the way you shop. The basics of journalism: who, what, when, where, why. Is there an event that you're going to that people can go to, or the reporter might want to, either if you're going to a trade show, you can say, hey, I'm going to be at this trade show. Are you? I get those all the time. And when I go to the trade shows, I have a whole list of products and companies and people, what booth they're at. I try to schedule them. So is it a local event? Are you going to be talking to the Kiwanis Club about what it's like to be an inventor? Invite the TV station. They like stuff like that. So, the worst they can say is no or don't show up. And always, 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 whatever you're sending out, make sure that you have contact information. If it's going to be you, perfectly fine. Your name, your title, phone number, email, have it all there. Website, of course. But don't send any, you can make it your signature of your email, so you don't have to keep writing it. But don't forget that, because there's nothing worse than getting a pitch I like, and I don't know how, and I do a reply and it bounces back or something like that. So always do that.
What's interesting, AJ, is we have to think about what we do from almost like a consumer perspective, right? If you were going to talk, if somebody was talking to you about their invention, or let's say you're watching the news and you see those stories about inventors or new products and different things, that they made it, right? So what did they do, and how are they showing their idea or talking about them? And that seemed to have caught the editor or the journalist or the TV anchor, whatever it was. But you're watching TV, you're reading newspapers, you're reading magazines, you're on social media, you see the influencers. With me, some of the products I launch, AJ, one of the items on there were go viral, right? So I had an influencer pick up one of my products and talk about it. I didn't even know. Somebody told me that my product was on this person's social media. But I can also reach out to those influencers and see if they want to pick up my invention to be able to make some noise out there about it. So it seems like we have a lot of options, and even just sticking to our local media and being able to get picked up, and then taking that article and then giving it to a national article, and probably building up some credibility there to say somebody already took an interest in this. Maybe we should look at it, right?
Yeah, there's especially like local TV, they have those morning shows where they invite local people on to talk about their product or their life or whatever. Just don't limit yourself. And the more you're out there, the more exposure you get, and you can double it or triple it by posting it as well. If you can link on social media. There are two things that I was really proud of when I was doing communications for people, and it was because I didn't know the rules. And one was, I was a communications person for a local dentist running for state legislature. And one of his main goals was, we were having a big crisis in our schools, and schools were shutting down and falling, being abandoned and falling to waste. And he had ideas how to help fix that. So I said, okay, let's make your campaign announcement in front of this school that is being closed. And, you have this great backdrop of this school that looks like a great school. And I sent the media out to all these TV and radio stations and newspapers, that it was basically the campaign, he's running for office, but this is why. And they showed up. And I was like, hey, that's great. And then somebody who has been doing this longer than I had said, how did you get media to show up at a campaign announcement? They don't do that. And I said, oh, they don't? I didn't know. But I gave them something to come for, to hear what he had to say, not just that he was, Todd Smith is going to run for office, but he had something to say. And the other was an indie film that some friends made. And they were having the premiere at a local theater, one of those really nice old timey theaters, because they had connections. And so I spread the word. I put it on calendar. We were having this premiere. We're selling tickets. And usually these things are just followed by the cast, crew, and family members and friends. We sold out the theater. People bought tickets.
Nice.
And not like it was a 10,000 seat arena, but it was because I didn't know this didn't happen. If I were a reporter, I'd want to know something like this, and I set up interviews with the cast and crew, and it's, so there's an advantage. Don't feel like you have to be an expert and know all the rules. Sometimes If you don't know the rules, you're going to find success.
It's
And
interesting.
the worst they can do is ignore your email. So it's nothing.
It seems like a lot of times people find interest in kind of connecting with somebody's senses, right?
Yes.
Or their emotion. There's some kind of emotional connection that probably piques somebody's interest to be able to continue reading or
Yes.
to show up like that.
Yes, exactly. And as I said earlier, get it done. You got this idea, you've done your homework, and nothing's going to happen if you don't actually do it. You can do mass emailing, that's fine. Custom emailing, I think, is even better, because then you have instead of like getting a list of all local media or all regional media and just sending a mass email, well, you're going to probably get some bounce backs and maybe some people who, they can't do anything with it. You're sending it to a sports guy and it's not a sports product, or you're sending it to, a different department than what. So hopefully you will have a bunch of stories to tell. You're just brimming with ideas. You've got, you're Brian, and you've got like 18 million patents. And, don't tell me about all of them, but you can have your strategy. I'll tell them about this. I'll tell them about that. And as long as you're not a pest about it, hopefully you'll get some bites. And be aware of time constraints. As I said, I'm the sole person in the editorial department. And when I'm on deadline, I'm just, I'm too busy to look at every single email. So if you do have a time element in there, make sure you follow up. Make sure they know that there's a time element, because that might help. Not say, I'm looking, for something to post that is, last week was Mother's Day, and so I needed something to post about Mother's Day. So just be aware. Send it well in advance, not on the tip. I still got pitches for Mother's Day stuff when it was 3 days before, and our issues are bi-monthly, and even 2 or 3 days before, I can't really do anything with that. So most of us are planning ahead, and if it's a publication, it could be a 2-month lead time. And as I said, follow up. Don't be a pest. I don't mind getting a reminder, because there's been some things that I missed, and I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of like that, or I need that. I have a spot here in my publication for that. So send your email. A week later, say, hey, in case you missed it, did you happen to see? But don't send it the next day. Don't send it the day after, and the day after, and the day after. You don't want to be a pest, because then I'm going to block you. But you always follow up, and if they didn't get your pitch before, when you're ready for your next pitch, send them that pitch. And if I start recognizing names, and if I see one that I like, then the next time they send me an email, I'm going to say, well, I couldn't do anything in the last one, but let me see what they have to say now. So following up is very important.
It's interesting, AJ, because you made it simple for us, and the tips and advice that you gave us show that we could do it ourselves. I know that there's public relations agencies out there and different people to pitch your invention, but you know what? The way that you showed us, we don't really have to start hitting phone calls and showing up in different news outlet headquarters. All we need to do is search for the editors, the media that we want to go after, that are relevant to our product. That's what I've learned from this session, is to not call up a kitchen gadget person when you're selling something in hardware. So find the relevant contacts, build a list, think about industry trade show or industry editors and consumer editors, local TV stations. So kind of like map out which media you're looking for: TV, radio, internet, right? Social media, and just find the right
Podcasts. I
podcast.
didn't mention podcasts. There's everybody and their mother has a podcast, and
Right.
there's probably 18 that can apply to your field, your product, your expertise. So don't forget them. They're always hungry for guests.
Right. And influencers, there's websites that you can connect up with influencers already, and you could pay to play. But, if you're have a chance to pitch some local editors and build up some credibility out in the market, and then you use it for social media, use it for website when they wrote up a story about you, and hopefully you take it for a ride. I found that a lot of times when I've had opportunities to be in the media, it's spike and then so you gotta keep it as much as you can consistent there with just like when you're doing social media, you want to keep putting constant content out there to be able to keep your audience interested. So this was inspiring, very interesting. And I hope that our audience, I'm sure our audience learned either a lot or learned something that's going to help them to bring their idea and their own personal brand to out there in whether it's in the industry or the consumers. So
Great.
AJ, thank you so much. There are inventors, entrepreneurs, startups at all different stages of their invention ideas here. And it could be a product, it could be a business. You've gone to the people's booths, you've written about them. If you can give us some words of wisdom, because some of us are moving forward and some of us are stuck. Give us some words of wisdom to keep us moving forward with our big ideas.
Well, one thing that I learned when I was promoting my book, I had never done that before. I didn't have a great big publisher who sent me on a media tour to New York and LA and everything like that. I took advice from a lot of my friends and people in the industry. And one publisher friend of mine gave me some great advice. He said, look where the other authors are, then go where they aren't. And that made a lot of sense to me. So then I sought out opportunities to market my book in different areas. There was I'm in Southern Arizona. There was a town that had a small business Saturday in their local mall. And a friend of mine was one of the vendors there. And so I set up a table there with my book, and I was there, and I sold dozens of my book through that, the small, and I went back several times, and especially for some reason, true crime really sells at Christmas. So I promote it on my social media, and I did a lot to build my brand as an author, because I want those people to say, when's the next one coming out? And I'm like, God willing, not too much longer. But things like that, as I said, you don't, sometimes because you're not a professional and you don't know the rules, you're not going to embarrass yourself by pitching yourself or your idea or your invention to someone. The worst they can do is just say, I'm not interested, but keep trying.
Right.
Keep going. And when you see an opportunity, a local speaker opportunity, I love doing things like that for my book, or things like this. When I go to the shows and I meet these people who are mom and pop, they came out with the spaghetti sauce, and I'm like, great, what makes it so different? And because there's a lot of spaghetti sauce out there. But I like hearing those stories. I like meeting those people, and I like to give them the ink that the big guys don't need, because they've got national advertising. And there's my email, very simple. I don't mind at all if someone says, hey, I was here and I have this question, or what do you think about this subject line? And like I
Forget our
said,
priority.
yeah, just know that if I'm on deadline, I probably won't answer for a few days. Poor Brian was like
Yeah,
trying to
I've
get
experienced
AJ.
Where are you, AJ? We're supposed to be on that tomorrow. No, it's okay. It's all good.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much for that advice. Just a quick plug for your book, the title.
It is Toxic Rage. I don't know if you can see, there's a poster in back. The elevator pitch is a Tucson eye surgeon was found stabbed to death in his parking lot, and they accused another eye surgeon of hiring a hitman to kill him.
Mm.
And that doesn't give away the book, because you're going to be surprised. You're going to be surprised who's who done it and why.
Thank you so much, AJ. It was a pleasure. It was great to meet you in person, and now we get to give this advice from you to the audience, and I'm looking forward to continuing our connection, and we can also reach out to you, which is fantastic. So we could just put in the subject line National Inventor Club, and we know that AJ is going to read it. So
yes, that will
we
catch my
appreciate
eye.
it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much. We'll keep in touch, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you so much. All right. Well, that's a wrap for National Inventor Club May 2025. We've been live streaming in the Inventor Smart Community app, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, I think a couple other social media channels out there. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. We do the best we can to get amazing guests like AJ Flick to be able to help us and keep our ideas moving forward. So we will see you all again very soon. And don't forget, in the app, in the Inventor Smart Community app, in the social media channels, you see the link to the after meeting networking. If you'd like to come join us and talk about what you've learned tonight and maybe have a question or two that you need answered, come join us in the after meeting networking. We'll see you again soon. Thank you from National Inventor Club. Have a great night.